Intensity, I like it. Let's move. Okay. Hello, everybody. It's me, Darcy. You can tell it's me. I have a face. And it's Kris. You can tell it's him.
I also have a face.
I didn't think that one through. And you may know us from such things as this podcast, and mainly this channel, unless we know you in real life, in which case, hello.
Hey.
Please don't talk to me anymore. No, hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Unnamed Podcast. Podcast where we sit here for a time, talking rubbish. Generally. Maybe not tonight, but who knows?
We'll see.
There's stuff to talk about.
We never know.
I got a whole page. I got a whole fucking page. Look at that page. Lots of stuff happening, but he doesn't know about any of it because he's useless.
I mean, I might know about some of it.
Okay. No, he's useless.
Hey, whoa.
So,
not completely.
Let us get started the way we always get started.
Channel news.
Channel news. Except last week, in which was last week the week we didn't actually ever finish channel news.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure that was last week.
I got really distracted and just never wrapped it up. The longest channel news ever.
As much as it technically finished, we just didn't say it finished.
Yeah, I never went on to the next subject, which is what I do because now for something completely different.
Yes.
So, channel news. What's come out this week? Well, on Monday, Chris's take on Coral Island came out.
Yes.
If you don't know, Coral Island is a charming little Stardew Valley-esque game.
And I made it slightly less jump.
Still, it still has a few issues. It's still being technically released because it's not at full release yet.
Okay.
Don't like that about video games.
Yeah, it's a bit of a rough one.
I didn't pay for it because it's free on Xbox, but I'm really I'm not a big fan of video games not being finished. Nothing irks my gears more than when I get to a point where it's like, oh, this would normally be here, but it's not yet ready.
And that's the downside to some open betas, is they just never end.
Yes. Well, it's satisfactory.
They would,
I'm not sure how much more endgame they can add to their endgame before they have to say the game has ended.
Well, that's true. We haven't gotten to the end game.
And then today, well, we were at the end.
We were.
Then they added.
We were in the last tier.
Then no, we had almost finished the last tier. We'd built the last thing we could build. Then they added the update 7,
that's right,
which added more stuff to build for that last tier, but for no real reason other than building it.
Yes.
Okay.
No, actually, I don't think we sent the stuff up. In the last thing.
No, we hadn't sent it up, but we had it being produced.
Yes.
We
had it being produced.
We were done.
At which point I started making the particle accelerator and so on.
Well, no, that came out after, because the particle accelerator.
Oh, that's right, it did too.
We were like at the end, like we were at the point where it's like, okay, we have nothing more to build. This is just taking time. Let's go exploring. And then we went exploring, and I was like, yeah, I've been here. This is what I do. One of the things that I really want to see them add is more like drops, like those drop pods. I want to see more of them coming down.
Yeah, that'd be
like
nice.
Just like, so they've got the ones that are set there. I'd like some ones that just drop down with occasional like benefits or whatever.
That'd be nice.
And
to
then
have
you
like
have
a
to
warning
actually
to say, hey, something's coming down.
Yeah, something's coming down. It's like a little package, so you can go and get some high level materials or a boost
and even
or something.
not just give us a direct location.
No, just like say
just to be like it's in that direction.
Not even that. Just be like something's coming down. Like look up and see it in the sky coming down, and then it's like, you know how it gets in your head with all the alien artifacts, and it's like having that voice just being like something just coming down, like you looking into the sky trying to see it, and it's like boom, oh look, there's something over there, and you can go over there and get some stuff, and have like some hostiles coming around. Anyway, that'd be great because
that'd be nice.
I've pretty much explored the entire map and found everything worth finding, which means that
they have changed the map a little. Though.
Okay, well, where we were, there was no reason for me to explore anymore.
No.
The only reason to go out would be like, oh, we need this resource. I was like, okay, well, I'm pretty sure I saw some over here. And then I'd just take one of my many electrified highways there.
We did have those, didn't we? We had power everywhere.
Why is there just a power cable heading off into the jungle?
Hoverpack.
Flying. I like flying. Have you heard of it? I have a gun.
He figured out the perfect spacing so that we never lost power.
I'm very good. I also figured out I just figured out mainly what I did was I just figured out routes. It was like, we need this resource route there, and it's like, oh, there's a off-put here, route over there, or whatever. But
Actually, there was one point we got close to losing power.
Oh, well, that was when I figured out how to use it to climb a mountain, pretty much.
Yeah, true.
Where I was like, okay, if you go here and then you go here, you start to lose, but as you drop, you kind of go back up, and
Yeah,
like,
if you follow the correct path.
if you don't, you die.
Yes.
And frankly, that's how I like to do things.
Well,
Do it right the first time, or don't do it again because you're fucking dead.
Oh, yes.
Solving problems.
I'm not sure on that one.
Yeah, so that Coral Island came out. If you have seen the video, you obviously know what it's all about. If you haven't seen the video, do check it out. It's quite funny. I love the game. It, like I said, it's not finished. It still has a bit to do. Practically most of winter, I had to recently restart my game. I'm a little bit angry about that because I got to winter, I did something, and all of my tools got taken away from me.
What?
You can't replace tools. They just disappeared. My whole inventory got wiped. You can't replace tools.
Not even buying them in town or anything?
No, there's no way to get them back. They get given to you at the start of the game. You can upgrade them, but if you lose them, they're gone. And so I'm sitting there being like, oh, I'm in a farming game where I can't farm or fish or catch bugs.
You could, however, give people gifts.
Or dig. All I could literally do was buy a new sword, and then that was it.
Oh, you could have
Nope, can't mine. Didn't
scavenged.
have. I can scavenge.
You could scavenge and
But
then,
only from the
as
bins.
I said, give people gifts.
I could only go to the bins because it was like
If you've
I
seen
had-
it already, you'll know what I'm
I
implying.
had
here.
a sword. I couldn't go into the mines because I couldn't mine.
True.
I could make explosives, but only I had a very limited amount of that. So no pickaxe meant no mining. No mining meant no stone. No axe meant no wood, so I couldn't continue building anything.
True.
No watering can meant that I couldn't water my plants. No, not that I had any plants. It was winter.
Yes.
No hoe meant that I couldn't plant new crops.
Yeah.
I'm missing no fishing rod. Couldn't do any fishing collection. No bug catching net. Couldn't do any bug catching collection.
Jeez.
No sickle meant that I couldn't clear anything more.
Yeah.
I was fucked. And then they're like, oh, like I looked up online. They're like, if you go like send a thing being like, oh, I lost my tools. It's like you'll get back. So I tried to send some feedback, and every time I tried to send feedback, it would crash my game.
Oh, god damn it.
And I was just like, okay, well, that's a problem. So I've restarted
Yeah.
with my prior knowledge. Fucking, it's been a good start. I think
should've
I'm
been.
growing potatoes.
Oh, nice.
I'm not sure. I didn't check the seeds. I just went, seeds. Like all good farmers.
At least
But
I looked at the seeds.
I'm in my second run through.
Okay.
Only downside is that now I have to rebuild all of the relationships I had going. And everyone fucking loved me. I was that dude that just rocked up and was like, hey, you want a potato? And they were like, fuck yes.
It's a good thing I don't have to continue the relationships from that video.
But yes, if you have
I've screwed
not
that.
seen that, go check it out. Kris found out what everyone hates.
Yes.
And if you look at the thumbnail, those are actual bits that people said to Kris. His face. His face. He's a monster.
Yes.
And then on today, or Wednesday, technically it's Friday, on today, Wednesday,
Spyro.
Day, Spyro came out.
Yes.
Beastmakers, Second Last World.
Oh, yes, yes.
Technically. I don't count Nasty's Nexus as a world,
Yeah, that's
because it's
fair.
only 3 portals, and there might be some gems to collect.
I'm pretty sure there are.
But it's
Pretty
like,
sure.
you're on a platform. Whereas the others are actual worlds, you're on a platform.
Yeah, okay.
With 3 portals. So it's more of a end game situation. End game situation. But yes, so there's this one, there's the other one. It's already been filmed. I just have to edit it. I forget what I was saying about that. Oh yeah, and then I've got to just film finishing up Nasty's Nexus. I am wondering
Yeah.
how long that will take me though.
Isn't there another area you can go to?
No,
Once you collected everything, or is that in the second game?
incorrect. You're thinking of Dragon... No, that's the 3rd game.
It's one of the first 3 games, I know that.
So there's the
It's
amusement
right
park.
at the end.
There's the
It's-
amusement
yeah,
park
that's
from the
what
3rd
it's-
game. Third game? Second game? I think it's the second game. Dragon Shores. Might be a second game.
It's a place that only shows up once you actually finish the game and you have all the gems.
I think it's number 2. Yeah, I'm 100% it's number 2 because it's the portal in the big middle. Yeah, Dragon Shores.
Yeah.
Get to do all the things. Anyway, that's unimportant. And also there are Norks there.
There are.
Which confuses me. Because I figured that they must be a species. So there are Norks there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, okay, so Norks... I always knew Norks were a race, but I was like, also, they're made from gems, apparently.
It's a weird one.
Yeah. I don't fucking know. Do I look like the guide to Spyro's internal logic? No. Where the fuck is Spyro for, though? That's what I want to know.
That's a fair point.
Anyway, enough on that. I really hope it comes out soon, though. Yeah, so I will do that. I don't know how long it's going to take me, is my biggest issue.
Yeah.
But I'll probably film that over the next couple of days.
Yeah.
And in other news, we also finished Room 3.
We did.
Which, that's an episode and a half. Hasn't been edited yet, thank God. It was a pretty rough one, trust me.
Yeah.
What else is happening? Something about something. Oh, that's right. I'm going to start The Long Dark. I believe that's what it's called. Let me check. It's not there. Wait.
It sounds right as
Let me
the
check.
name.
It's the right. Yeah, it's
It
The
is
Long Dark. I'm going to start The Long Dark because I do have a plan to do like a Christmas episode for that.
Okay.
Because, you know, the apocalyptic end of the world, very Christmassy.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Absolutely hits it nail on the head. So me and Kris have had a bit of a talk. This is still channel news, technically.
Yes.
And we probably are going to do a Christmas week. Probably.
It's going to be rough.
It's not going to be that bad.
That's going to be rough for me. I'm working a lot.
You probably won't even notice. I think we've got like 4 videos to do, and one of them has to wait until like almost Christmas time.
Fair. Fair.
And plus, Christmas week technically starts Christmas Day because of how that works out. Fun. We looked at a calendar and we saw that Christmas Day is on a Monday, and I was like, perfect time to start Christmas week.
Yeah, of course.
You know, you have the podcast on Friday, the day 2 days before Christmas.
Yes.
And be like, hello, it's Christmas podcast. I'll be there. Kris will be there. We won't be wearing hats. But if we do this, no, just put your head down for a second. Put your head down. Put your Christmas lights.
Damn it. You got me.
Anyway, so the Christmas podcast will be on Friday, then the Christmas week will start. And we're going to have classic videos like Christmas Day being Phasmophobia.
Of course.
Obviously.
But
So we will have to do that at least the week before, so I have the entire weekend to edit that.
yes.
Day
well,
after
depending
Christmas.
on when the update comes out.
It should be up the Wednesday before Christmas.
Should be.
Unless they're really slack, in which case we'll do it on the fucking Friday night.
Oh, God.
Something. What was I saying? Oh, yeah. Day after Christmas. I don't know. It's Boxing Day. I don't know if everyone calls it Boxing Day, but it's Boxing Day. So me and Kris will be playing some ARMS for the official Boxing Day beatdown.
Yep.
I'm not sure how long that video is going to go for, but we'll make it work.
Yeah.
It might be a little bit, like a half hour, maybe max. I don't know. Fucking.
I think it's what we did last year.
We haven't done ARMS in a while.
We got to relearn to play.
I don't.
I
I'm a
do.
genius.
I played it once, and it was for that video.
And then we've got, The Long Dark.
Yeah.
Shit, I forgot there was another one. Stuff with snow in it. Bread and Fred.
That's the way, yeah.
No, Bread and Fred.
I remembered penguins. That's as far as I got.
That's got snow in it.
What else?
Fucking the ice levels of Super Bunny Man. Really done. No, fucking no.
Don't.
There was another one. I can't remember what it was. I was like, oh, there's a few, and I remember Hitman. There will be a Christmas thing for Hitman.
Oh.
So maybe we'll do the Christmas escalation.
Oh, yeah.
We'll become Santa or kill Santa. I can't remember what happens with Santa. But Santa will be there, and then maybe a New Year's one because that will be the Thursday.
Okay. Yeah.
I think I've done math wrong again.
Maybe.
I
wasn't paying attention to the math.
If I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If I have 5 videos, then there'll be 5 days out. And then the podcast for New Year's will come out on the Friday, and maybe so will a Hitman episode. I don't know. I'm not good at planning. Also, another channel news. The Discord is up and running.
Oh, fine. Yes. That's good.
I said that last week, because I did it last week. So is the Patreon. I also did that last week. So, if you feel like it, go check them out. There's not a lot there. The Patreon has one post. But,
what's the post?
Oh, it's just, I finally did it.
I don't know what I was expecting.
There will be other stuff put there. I'm thinking, hopefully at some point this week, I'll get to those 2 videos.
The raft videos?
Yep, the raft videos up there. For people who
want to see it. Go on, Jaden, do it.
Give me your dollars. Me and Kris will buy ice creams.
We shall.
And sit here on the podcast eating them.
And you can sit there knowing
you're
the reason we have them.
Why do we have 4? Because they're fucking 50-cent cones, motherfucker.
That's it. You gotta have.
And apparently, which confused the fuck out of me, because I set the Patreon thing for like $1, but then like the lowest one's $2, and I'm like, I don't fucking understand this.
What?
Yeah, no, it doesn't make sense to me. But hey, it's Patreon. Does it make sense to any of us? No, not really. No.
I've never used it, so no.
I also have to figure out how to get the Discord stuff going on. Technically, I have the link to it, but I'm not sure. I haven't tried anyone actually connecting to it.
Fair.
The only person who's a part of it is me. Me only.
Wouldn't the first person to check that be me, and then you make me the admin?
I am the admin.
Okay, fine.
Technically, it's a moderator, but
well,
that's
yes.
me. Yeah. That's me personally.
Well, what am I in this situation?
Channels. It's the channels. Fine. Discord doesn't belong to me. It belongs to the channel.
Fine.
So I am the boss.
Okay. Jeez.
Yeah, I think that just about wraps up channel news. I don't really have anything else to say about that. So, look, they exist. You can go check them out. There's not a lot there. We're still working on this whole YouTubing thing.
Yes.
Give me a break. Yeah, so let's move on. Kris, it's Christmas time.
It is.
I showed you the Christmas lights earlier.
Briefly.
I hate it.
And he has to deal with it.
No, I just dislike Christmas because for some reason, like, okay, I like getting presents, though I don't feel the need for an entire day about getting and receiving presents. I think that kind of, we have our birthdays. I like spending time. I like people having time off so I can spend time with them. That's always nice and fun. I don't understand why the world goes crazy at this point of time, though.
Yeah,
I don't get it. I also don't understand why we have to put Christmas lights up. I really hate Christmas lights.
Well, you don't have to.
No, they're all on the streets, right?
Yes.
People, like my parents, putting up Christmas lights on the house, being like, oh, yeah, because then the kids will stop in front of our houses and look at them. It's like, yeah, that's sort of the problem. Surely, if we look at crash statistics for cars, it skyrockets during Christmas time because you've got wankers driving around being like, oh, look, lights! And then the car behind them goes, what the fuck? Bang! Oh, this wanker in front of me just slammed on his fucking brakes because he wanted to look at the lights, which apparently you need to stop moving to do.
You don't.
Now, as someone who sees all the fucking time, I have eyes, that's what they're fucking for. I have never, I'm not a reverse T-Rex.
No.
Fucking, that was wrong, by the way. Jurassic Park got a few things wrong.
Just a tad.
But yes, I'm not a reverse fucking Jurassic Park T-Rex. I can't. Could you imagine having to stop to see something? Life would be super fucking dangerous. Well, I'm off to the bathroom. I hope no one's left anything on the ground. Oh god, I'm blind. Help me.
That'd be rough.
Yeah, I know.
That would be.
So I don't understand why suddenly, because there's Christmas lights, people have to be like, stop, look at them. Oh. Yeah. They're the really bright glowy things when everything else is black.
Yeah.
You need to stop and stare, because otherwise you might miss them all. On a house. You don't need to stop. Don't stop.
It's even worse when you live, like, right at a dead end.
Here's the other point with this, right? If you are someone and you do have young kids and you do want to take them out Christmas light looking, here's what you do. Get in your car. Find out where the Christmas lights are. Drive somewhere, park, get out of your car, walk up the street, look at all the Christmas lights whilst walking, turn around, walk back to your car, hop in it, drive away. Preferably, if you can park it in a car park somewhere.
But, not
just on the street, but like somewhere where cars are supposed to be parked, that would be particularly nice.
But you don't see too many of them around, do you?
No, they're only fucking everywhere. But, like I'm just saying, like if you've got to stop and look at every fucking house, why not walk? You can get your weekly ratio of exercise in as well.
Yeah.
Kill 2 birds, 1 stone.
Go to a different place every night.
And not involve my rage.
Yeah.
And it's the worst type of rage.
Funny for me.
Fucking righteous rage.
Only because you can't get out of your driveway.
Or into my driveway. Or into my street. Or down my street. Or really anywhere I need to go.
All of those are correct.
Yeah. Fucking hate it.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Why do I live on a street where it's like, well, like only 50 houses do fucking Christmas lights on?
Or someone at work just moved to a street which is known specifically for Christmas lights. He has never once put Christmas lights up.
I don't like it.
He's now putting Christmas lights up. Just because he's in that street.
Poor bastard.
I know.
Anyway, Christmas time is terrible.
Especially when he said that it spent something like 1,000 on fucking lights.
Fucking idiots. See, I got my hopes up because like a couple of years ago they were like, we're going to get rid of all of our Christmas lights. And I was like, thank God. I was like, they're fucking yes. And then they went, oh, and we're going to replace them with new ones. I was like, no. Anyhow, enough on that. It annoys me greatly. Especially now.
Didn't get the hair to fall down though. Hasn't gone crazy.
It's in a tight bun.
Yeah, I'm aware of what it is. I was hoping for it.
Oh! Kris, I want to talk about something else that's been annoying me recently.
Okay.
Right. We've talked about this before. I don't know.
Surprising it's not me this time.
No.
This time.
You are involved. No.
Oh, no.
It doesn't involve you. You stupid fuck.
Oh, I see. Okay.
No. Well, a little bit.
No.
Just all. No. So recently I've just been like fucking killing time, not doing YouTube stuff.
Okay.
Because
you have a life outside that?
No, I just... So, like, some days I wake up and I'm like, I need to do some editing today.
Yeah,
and then I'm like, well, need is a bit strong. I should do some editing today. Well, should is a bit strong. I want to do some editing today. Well, want is the wrong word. I don't want to do editing today. I'm like, and I don't need to. It's not like I don't have any videos to go up. I'm like, oh, I'm not going to edit. Like, the only morning I ever wake up, I'm like,
it's very relatable. Like, it's very relatable.
No. Not to you, no.
It is for me going to work.
Okay, well, that's fair.
There you go.
I was going to say, no, your editing is, I don't need to edit. I'm not going to edit. Whereas I'm like, I don't need to edit. I might do it a little bit later. But I don't, like, unless I really need to, it's not, like, on the thing. So the only day I ever wake up and I'm like, I need to edit is a Thursday. Because I have to do the podcast. Gotta cut out all the craziness. Crazy. Don't look at yourself.
What's that?
Don't look at yourself.
I didn't look at myself.
Don't look at yourself. Don't do it. It's bad.
Too late, I've already done it.
No, so I've been like just like sitting here doing stuff, watching YouTube videos. It's what I do. But I've also been drawing, right? And
okay.
I talk to people about drawing stuff and like, oh, so you like doodle and shit. I'm like, well, yeah, I do. I'm like, but also, like last night I was just kind of fucking around. I was like, I wonder if I can draw a flower, Kris. And I did this.
I did see that.
I did this.
Yeah.
I might put a picture up. I might not. There you go. You see it. You didn't. No, I drew this, right? It's not bad. I might put a picture up. That took me about 20 minutes because I was just using circles, right? I was just fucking around with circles, and I was like, oh, I wonder if I can actually draw a flower because flowers are particularly hard to draw.
Yes.
And I was talking to someone about all of the sketching I've been doing recently, because it has been sketching. There's different levels, right?
Yeah, I prefer sketching myself.
There's what I do, which is I mainly sketch, which means I take things to a rough estimation of where I want them to be.
Yeah.
And then there's full-on drawing, which is what I've done there, which is I actually bring it to the point where it's that could be completed, coloured, made into a nice piece of art.
Yes.
Put that in a fucking frame hanging on Chris's forehead. Make him nice.
He'd staple it there too.
Nope.
I need you to understand.
Nope.
No?
Nail gun.
There you go.
But anyway, so I was talking to people about the fact that I've gotten back into sketching, because I also have other things, like this shy little ghost and that mustache.
I see the mustache.
Anyway, because I've just been doing little quick sketches, stuff that's 5-10 minutes long.
Yeah.
Easy stuff. And people are like, oh, I didn't know you drew. I'm like, what do you mean?
Don't.
What do you mean you didn't know that?
What the hell?
And they're like, oh, I didn't realize that you were kind of into doing artsy stuff. I'm like, what do you mean you didn't know? I'm like,
it's the dumbest thing I've heard today.
When you met me and you asked, hey, what do you do? And I went, oh, I studied architecture at university and all this and all that.
But he's never drawn.
And they go, oh yeah, so you're this and that, and you're like, you're not an architect. I'm like, no, I don't actually want to be an architect anymore. But whatever.
Yeah.
And then they go, oh well, oh okay, well, and we go on, and then it's like, oh yeah, but I'm like, oh, I sketch every now and then. They're like, oh, I didn't know you were artistic. It's like, motherfucker, I literally told you when we met that I went to university and studied art. Not art. I studied an art form. I literally went to university to study designing and drawing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I had this conversation with Kris before, the only difference between me and a painter, an artist painter, not a painter who paints houses, there's lots of differences between us.
Right.
He paints the walls, I design the walls.
That's true.
No, that's different. For a second there I was like, well, actually no, we do have a lot in common. No. He just makes my visions come to life. No. Anyway, the difference between us is not a lot. We are both artists, we just have a different medium. It's it's like a painter and a sculptor. Or a welder. Or any of this. It's no. I'm like, guys, buildings, especially buildings designed by an architect, are a form of art. You may not look at them because they all look like squares at the moment and go yeah. You might not sit there and go, that's a piece of art. But technically it is.
Yes.
It's the artistry of designing buildings. Because really, here's a crazy thing. I don't know if anyone's known this, but if you give a pencil to a child and tell them to draw you a house, they can draw you something that looks like a house.
Yes. Well, it depends on the age of the child. But yes.
It's a square with a triangle. It's not difficult.
Yeah, but at a certain age, they just scribble.
Oh, well then, actually, they're probably... That kid could be an architect. If they're scribbling... They've got the skills. They understand that houses don't have to be squares with a triangle.
Okay, yeah, fair.
No, but it's you can give anyone who's got just any kind of understanding of how a ruler and pencil works, a ruler and a pencil, and say, draw a building, and I guarantee you they can draw a building. It's the reason we go to university is to kind of hone our skill in doing that, but also to kind of study what makes architecture.
True.
What makes an architect different from an engineer, and an engineer different from a handyman. No, there's a lot of differences there.
Massive differences.
A lot, but I wouldn't say. No. We don't like engineers. Specifically civil engineers. Fuck you, Rowan and Jack. No, those two are okay. Just.
Only just.
But anyway, the point is, it's we don't actually spend a whole lot of time learning to draw and stuff like that, because you already have to have some level of artistic ability.
True.
We actually spend most of our time studying architecture from the past. Yes. that was the longest pause in the word architecture.
Yeah, it was. I was wondering where you were going.
I was wondering where I was going to. I got lost there for a second.
I noticed.
Anyway, that's not the point. The point is, you go there, you learn about classic architecture, you learn about contemporary architecture, you learn about modern architecture. Contemporary is actually what you would call modern now. Don't get it wrong. Modern is from before World War One. You learn about brutalist architecture. There's lots of different styles of architecture which you learn about, and then you take inspiration from them, and then you be creative. But what has been really annoying me recently is just how many people are like, oh, I didn't know you were artistic or creative. I thought you were a building monkey. And it's like, no. Do I look like an engineer? Building monkeys. Oompa Loompas of the architectural
I mean,
world.
I've known for a while because that Charizard is up there.
The Charizard is up there. Although
that is not a Charizard. That's a Charmander. What the fuck am I saying?
That is a Charmander.
That is a Charmander.
But that's also so. So the difference between that and the rose that I drew is that the rose was done completely mentally. I was just like, okay, this is what a flower should look like. Yeah. That I did actually have a picture of Charmander.
Fair.
And then I was like, his tail's shit. I'm gonna design a more flamey tail, which I did do.
Yeah.
Also, I drew that in pen, not pencil. And pen is a far less forgiving medium.
Oh, yes.
Far more permanent.
No, I just have... I have sets of pencils specifically for sketching. And a whole bunch of stuff. Because I go into the shading and everything as well.
See, depends on what I'm doing. So pretty much I will go sketch done, happy done. Whereas it's like I'm doing a full on drawing, it's like shading, whatever. But for a lot of it, it's like I don't waste time with shading because it's not about having something that looks realistic for me. It's about,
I'm not at that point yet. I'm getting there.
It's about having something that is materialized and is viewable that has come from my brain.
That's fair.
So it's like, it's about getting the idea onto paper, and then it's like, okay, from there we take it to the next step and the next step, and we can. Yeah. I have never... A lot of architects actually get into painting with watercolors.
Okay.
Because that's kind of like how you take your sketching to like the next level. Like, because if you've ever seen some of the works, like once you like have like a whole sketch done, and then watercolor it, and you can have like what is just a picture of a building can look fucking amazing if you do that.
True.
But I haven't really pushed it that far yet, mainly because I don't spend a great deal of time sketching anymore. And
whereas when I do a sketch, it's like generally a minimum of like an hour and a half.
Right.
Yeah, no, I'll go upwards from there. I think the last sketch I did took me about.
But yeah,
3 hours.
I've just been like
wasn't great.
I've been on a tear for like the last probably 3 weeks of just like, because I've been like a little bit bored even at work, and I just be like doodling, and people are like, oh well, you're actually good at art, and I'm like, I know. I'm
aware. Oh man. See, my main thing is what I've been looking at trying to get better at is the detail of like eyes.
Eyes are difficult.
I know they're difficult, but you know what else is surprisingly difficult? Lips.
Penises.
Haven't tried that. But lips are very...
He's lying. He actually, that's all he draws.
So lips are very difficult because there's like a fine line of like, hey, it looks somewhat realistic, and well, that just looks 2D. Even with shading, it can still look quite 2D.
Yeah, but that's the same.
So
it's the same problem with... Oh, okay, so the problem you're actually running into is rounded shapes. Rounded shapes...
No, I can do rounded shapes.
No, but lips are rounded in an interest... Lips are rounded forward, backward. When everything else that you'd be dealing with on a human face is rounded. Like you can do a nose and have the roundedness of the nose there, and people will see it's rounded. But because lips are rounded like that,
that's true. And it's
like how do you show rounded on lips? And it's like
it's a point where you actually need
a lot of it's shading, but a lot of it's also you have to kind of you have to pretty much elevate from I'm doing a 2D work to now this thing I have to think about this in 3 dimensions.
Which is where you really need to focus on, okay, where's the light coming from?
Where's the light coming from? What should... Where is my perspective? Like, it's one of the hardest things.
I'm aware.
This is, again...
I've been trying it.
Basically, they don't, again, as I said, they don't actually teach us a whole lot of sketching once you decide to go to university for architecture. Most of that is known. The few things they do kind of hammer into you are perspective and light sources.
Yes.
Because, truth be told, we don't do a whole lot of full sketching anymore.
Yeah, mainly the computer now.
Mainly you doing everything on the computer, and the sketching is a quick, fast way. That's why I never moved on to watercolors, because it's a luxury for when you are good enough that no one minds you spending an extra day to do up some watercolors of your design, because
makes sense.
Oh, you're a fucking great architect. We'll give you that luxury. Off you go. Bye.
Whereas initially,
when you're a student, it's like, get this shit done. It's like, okay, what do I need to do? Okay, well, most of this is on a computer. I just need my preliminary sketches, which are supposed to be rough, pretty fast. The way they say it is like, your first sketch is something you can show to someone, and they'll go like, oh, I can kind of see what you're getting at. You're like, the shapes of the building, the parts, and you've been like, but it's not. It's not what you would see in like the final design.
Yeah.
Like, because it's kind of like any kind of medium, you need to be able to express what your thoughts are. So, and you be like, this is basically what I'm thinking, and you have a quick sketch that's probably taking you about 20 minutes while you sit there talking to the client, and then they can go like, oh yeah, I kind of like this. Like, look at that, and you go, okay, come back in a week's time, and we'll have an actual building that looks like this. And then we can plan it out more, and we can make the changes. And so the sketch is like the step between your brain and a product that you can actually explain to someone. But it's kind of like the impression of what you hope to give to them.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's all about it's mainly about speed. But when we are doing that, like when we do focus on actual sketching, and like drawing up like facades and stuff for buildings that we might be able to use or whatever, that's like, where is your light source coming from? What perspective are you looking at? Because you run into so many people who are like, they start drawing and you're like, oh, what's here? And they're like, oh, I didn't think about that. And it's like, all right, well, where your perspective is, you can see that.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't care that what's on the back of the building, 'cause this perspective of your sketch, I can't see that. But I need to know what's there, because perspective.
Yeah.
What can I actually see?
Yep.
Or you end up with people being like, oh yeah, I'm drawing this perspective, and you're like looking at it and you're going, I don't know what perspective you're using, but it's not a good one. Because it's like, oh, I'm using an isometric. And it's like, okay, well, first of all, your isometric is a bit off. But also at the same time, it's the wrong choice for this building.
Yeah, makes sense.
Anyway, just want to get that out there. If you ever meet me in real life, I did actually
specifically be shocked at the fact that he's autistic.
I did actually go to university and study a form of art. I even had to go to classes at COFA, the College of Fine Arts.
Just make sure you ask him how autistic he is every time.
Just be like, oh, hi Darcy, I didn't know you could draw, and I'll punch you in the fucking face.
I wouldn't be shocked at that.
I didn't realize you're autistic. No, I only fucking had to go to COFA fucking twice a week, 3 years.
Okay,
They were weird there, and I didn't like it.
Which is why you hated it.
Actually, I kind of did like. I enjoyed my time at COFA. I just bunch of hippies lying on the grass. I'm an anarchist. I have no time for lying on the grass. I have systems to destroy.
Yeah.
They're like, man, you just need to chill. What are you even doing here? I'm like, I have a class. They're like, oh, yeah, this is a university, right? And you're like, did you just smoke all of the weed?
Like every level? Oh, damn.
Yeah. Why are you here? I have a class. When do you have a class? At midday. It's 4 in the afternoon. Oh, I think I missed it. Probably.
Jesus Christ.
Why are you still here? Oh, man, I was just watching a cloud. What is this place?
For what, 6 hours?
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
Dude, don't get me. COFA was weird. COFA had grass.
It was weird because it had grass.
Oh, no, we also had grass at the main campus, but, you know they're weird when they're segregated from the main campus by a race course, 2 football stadiums, a cricket pitch. And when I say a cricket pitch for anyone in Australia, the cricket pitch is the SCG.
Yeah,
it's not like one of those ones you go to at your local place and you're like, oh look, it's the cricket pitch and it's a bit of grass in a circle. No, it was the fucking SCG, Fox Studios. What else was between there? Just all of Centennial Park.
Oh yeah, okay.
They were like, what can we literally put between these guys who are our students and valued, and the normal people?
And the normal people, eh?
We don't want them intermingling. And then someone said, what about architecture? And they went, fuck, they're gonna intermingle.
God damn it. We limit it to just them. No one else.
No one else is allowed to travel there. How do we stop people from just accidentally getting there? Hide it behind a bunch of apartments. No, seriously, the first time I had to go there, I'm like walking, I'm like, okay, there's a pub. Like a little old school little corner pub that only served hipster beers. I was very upset about that. I went there once and I was like, oh, I've walked past this pub a million times, but I've never gone there. And they're like, oh yeah, it's like the College of Fine Arts, Rege. The Rege was the pub that we would all go to from the main campus. And I was like, oh, okay, because the Rege was typical uni pub, You walk down there, beer's about $4, and you go, beer me up.
Yeah.
This one you walk into and it's like, oh yeah, we've got this honeydew beer, and you're like, right, can I have a schooner of that? Oh, we actually don't do schooners, we do these really funny glasses that are circular and vase-like and then have a long stem and sit up, and it looks like a wine glass, but you drink beer out of it, and you're like, okay, can I have one of them full of this beer that you make? Well, technically it's a mead. Okay, well, can I have that? Yeah, you can. It's only $12.50, and you're like, I just want a beer.
Please.
They're like, oh yeah, it only takes 3.5 minutes to pour, and you're like, what? I'll be dead by then.
It's even worse. What the hell?
Why are the weird glasses? Why has it got honeydew in it? Why is it a mead?
Why does it take 3 minutes to pour?
It's very thick.
Oh, fair.
And you gotta get the right head, and then you're like, okay, well, I don't even know what the fuck's going on anymore. But you're
sitting there
sitting there, and your arms are going, and you're just like, I just want a beer. Do you do beer? We have a nice homebrew. No!
Please, no.
No! That's not... Do you have a keg anywhere? That you could, like, hook up to this tap and just... Woo, woo. Maybe you bought it from a brewery? Oh yeah, there's this nice little brewery on the Sunshine Coast that we went to, and they make like 1 keg a month, so we buy it. No, I meant a place where you can go and they have big tanks of beer. I've never heard of that. Of course you haven't, you goddamn hipsters. Bet you only serve College of Fine Arts kids. Yeah, we do. How did you guess? God damn it. No, but anyway, so there was this pub on the corner.
Yeah.
Weird place. Didn't like it.
I could tell.
Oh, actually, no, there was something I did like about it.
Yep.
It had a rooftop garden.
Oh, okay.
And it was like a 3-story pub. So you went up there and it was like, I don't know if you know anything like Sydney architecture, but a lot of the older buildings have like walled-in roofs. So it's like an open roof, but it's all walled in. And there's like windows.
I mean, I've seen it before.
That you can just like pop open. So there's no roof. Pop open the window. It's all just like concrete, gravel, and shit like that. They did it. It was nice. But then you're kind of standing up there and you're like, oh, this is nice. It's like I'm inside and outside at the same time. I just wish I had a beer.
Anyway, so nice with a beer. Oh.
I think someone like walked up to me because I can't remember why we were there, but we were saying goodbye to someone. Like it was a going away party. He was a musician, obviously.
Right.
He went to the Conservatory of Music.
Sounds right.
Fucking fine. Anyway, so we're there for his going away party, and someone like walks up and they're like, "Darcy, you look sad." I'm like, I really don't like this. They're like, oh, well, you should try this one. I'm like, that's what I'm drinking. They're like, yeah, it's not the greatest. I'm like, I just wanted a beer.
You know what's worse about that is you should try this one. Yeah, it's not the greatest. How bad were the rest of them?
And then, you know, you got that. So, but also kind of like to give you a little bit more context, because it was UNSW and one of Sydney's big universities.
Yeah.
We had 2 or 3 pubs on campus. I can't remember the number. I only ever went to 2 of them, because there was the Roundhouse where everyone went, because they had double happy hour on a Wednesday and Friday, and $3.50 beers. Oh, great. And then they'd also often have double happy hour followed by James Squire hour, and so that's 3 hours of cheap beer.
It is.
On a Friday night, after playing some touch football, where I had free beer. Friday nights were great.
Oh, wow.
Anyway, so there was the Roundhouse. That's where everyone went, and that's also where they did all the parties and stuff, because they had a giant fucking stage, dance floor, whatever. It was literally a circle building.
Yeah.
That was a dance floor. That's why we called it the Roundhouse.
It makes sense.
Oh, it also had food. They used to do chili cheese fries.
Pub doing food?
No. A bar. It was a new
Oh,
bar.
I'm sorry, bar, yeah. Fair point.
And they did chili cheese fries, and the chili cheese fries were fucking delicious. And on a double happy hour,
I've never had chili cheese fries.
Oh, they were fucking delicious.
Never had them. I don't
You
even
sit
know
there,
if anywhere in town does them.
You sit there, and you'd be like, I'm gonna get some. It's a double happy hour. You finish the first hour of drinking, and you go, guys, I could really use something to eat. And someone would walk up and be like, that's why I ordered chili cheese fries. And you're like, you are the best person I've ever met.
Legend.
Who are you? And they're like, oh, I'm friends with so-and-so. And they point someone on your table, and you're like, no, you were allowed to join us when you said you would order chili cheese fries. But you keep thinking like that, we're going to be tight. And the chili cheese fries would come out, and you've got 2 more beers, and everyone's like sitting there having some chili cheese fries, drinking some beer. Sometimes they'd put out Jenga. That was always a bad idea, because it wasn't Jenga, you know, like Jenga, and it was like this big.
Yeah.
They like used. They just had like cuts of wood from Bunnings that were like this long, about this thick, and they'd put it up on a table, and then a bunch of drunk people standing there like, taking Jenga.
Oh, sorry, I don't know why I said this one. Let's take this one.
I've had beer. I can Jenga. And then you're sitting there and someone brings the Jenga over to your table and you're sitting there going, I think I'm going to get a concussion tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then there's also because there's also the outdoor side of the Roundhouse, which is where you would go for double happy hour. Outside, beer. Outside stage, big tree. Big tree is important for the rest of this story. And then pool tables. The Roundhouse is also the place I went where I was like, I walked into the bathroom and there was just an Asian guy standing in the middle of everything, looking at everyone, and I went, I don't need to pee anymore.
It's an odd situation.
This has freaked me out enough that, I don't need to go anymore. And I walked out backwards.
That's
and then Dookie was like, what the fuck are you doing? I'm like, there was just an Asian guy. And it was one of those ones where I was like, 3 walls were covered in like single person urinals.
Yep.
So like everyone would stand in a circle just pissing and looking at each other and being like, nice dick, nice dick, nice dick, nice dick. You know, you get a whole chorus going.
Oh yeah, of course.
But yeah, no, and just in the middle of the room there was just an Asian guy. I'm like, I don't know if he was like peeing in the drain in the middle of the floor. I'm like, he might have been. I didn't look. I wasn't paying attention to that. I just walked in and just kind of saw him and went, no.
Nope.
No, I don't want to be here anymore.
I'm leaving.
Anyway, enough about the Asian guy. Yeah, the tree, back to the outside, right?
Yeah.
When the Jenga tower got too tall, the only way we could get things on top was to either have a really tall person stand on the table doing it, but maybe you don't have one of those. Fortunately, we did. Yes. Or to kind of hold on to this tree branch that overhung that was quite low and just be like, hold on, I'm just going to shimmy up here. And the security guards are just like, this seems legit.
It's just, okay.
Why are these drunk people climbing trees? Oh, well, actually, they're playing giant Jenga. Oh, that makes sense.
That's fine. Let them go.
Not even a thing.
I've already had 3 concussions. Let's have something worse.
You know what? It was an eventful night at the Roundhouse. We had 2 broken arms and 3 concussions. How did that happen? Jenga.
What?
Oh, I thought because it's a bar there was a fight. No, just Jenga.
Just Jenga.
Anyway, and then there was the other bar, which is pub. The second one was technically a pub.
Okay, so there was food there too.
I don't know.
Oh, shit, okay.
I never ate there because they didn't do chili cheese fries.
Okay, fair enough.
Anyway, that's not the point.
That's not a reason not to eat anywhere.
The only reason I went there is because it was the White House.
Okay.
It was the fancier one. Roundhouse does $3.50 beers. White House does $12 beers in those glasses that I described earlier.
Ah, yes.
Although same beer. You do the maths. No, technically the expensive beers at the Roundhouse were the cheap beers at the White House. But it was also like the only reason I'd go there is because that's where the architects would meet up and drink because we were better than everyone else.
Okay, fair.
And it was classier. That's why I didn't eat there. Because I went chili cheese fries and they went, hick.
Oh, fair point. No, don't ask that again.
Went, well, I guess I'm going to Guzman Y Gomez. And I'm going to take my burrito back to the Roundhouse. And have some chili cheese fries. Because fuck you, that's why.
That's fair.
Anyway, no, so I'd go there and like occasionally drink. It was a nice place, very classy. Had an upstairs level. Can't remember what was up there. Only went up there when I was really drunk. Probably not smart because it was an old building, painted white. Obviously, that's where it got its name from.
Yeah.
But it had a really small staircase, like old buildings do,
Yeah.
and one of those like handrails where you're like, if I push this hard enough, it's not stopping me.
No.
Anyway, that was the pubs on. I can't remember why I started talking about it. Oh, COFA.
Holy shit. Holy shit.
I'm in fine form tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So
at least you remembered tonight.
So yeah, there was the pub on the corner.
Yeah.
And then there was just a bunch of terrace houses. You know terrace houses, right? Yeah. Okay, awesome. He knows what terrace houses are.
Yeah.
Really old school Sydney ones where they're super thin and super long.
Yeah.
And there were just fucking heaps of those around. And then you'd walk past them, you'd walk past them, you'd walk past them, and then there was just a tree with a gate in front of it. And you'd walk through, like, it's not like a little chain link fence, whatever. It was like a big old fucking metal gate with, like, big, nice, sturdy metal bars.
Okay.
And you're like, that is not an accident.
No.
That's to keep them in. That's to keep them in. And you'd walk through there, and then you'd, like, walk up this, like, kind of gravelly path next to some grass, and then all of a sudden, behind all of these terrace houses and trees, there was just a university campus with 3 or 4 buildings, a hill with grass on it,
Oh, I see what you meant by the grass now.
and a bunch of graffiti.
Well, that sounds right, yeah. It's COFA.
And you'd be like, okay.
Yeah.
And then you'd look back at the gate and go, that makes sense.
You know, every time you said that you saw someone, like, just laying on the grass or anything like that, I was picturing them on a hill.
Yeah.
Because there's 100% always a hill there. There has to be. If there isn't, then something's wrong.
Considering how flat this part of Sydney was, I'm pretty sure the hill was man-made. They went, we're going to put a bunch of artsy kids here, put a hill in, cover it with grass.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Then put some stairs up it for no goddamn reason.
What?
Yeah, there was a staircase that went up to a path that went over a like small little
Why did I
bridge.
question that? I pictured that, but more off to the side.
No, it was like up the middle, path, small little bridge walkway thing over to the buildings.
Yes.
It's like, okay, well, you could have just put the staircase where the bridge is, and we could have walked around the hill. No, but you had to walk up the hill. Anyway, that's irrelevant. COFA was hidden away.
Yeah.
And had a big gate.
Big fuck off gate. Not a fuck off gate?
No, I'm just trying to think if any of the entrances to the main campus had any gates on them whatsoever. I think one might have, because it was a car park technically. So it had like a boom gate. But yeah, I'm pretty sure COFA was the only one that had actual gates.
Did they design them? No, they didn't.
As I said, they were sturdy. Now, it was either because they wanted to keep people out of COFA, probably, or they wanted to keep the COFIans in from the neighbours, also probably.
But you could just walk in, so it's not...
Oh yeah, because it was open.
Yeah, so it's not a great gate.
Oh, hey, these were people that would stare at the sky for 6 hours. They see a fence in front of them, they're like, well, I'm fucking stuck here, aren't I?
Okay,
Also, there was this one terrace house that had like 28 bicycles out the front of it.
What?
Yeah, it was like...
Is that where they stopped and put their bikes?
No, because it was like inside the fence of the terrace house. So I'm like, either the person who lives here really likes bicycles, or he's a thief.
Maybe.
Or, and like this sounds like something that would happen at university. Someone threw a bike in there once, and then someone else saw that and was like, tradition, bike. And then they just kept that tradition going, and the person is just like, why do I have so many bikes now? Anyway, that's enough about COFA.
Yeah, that's...
Crazy place.
Yeah.
Why was I talking? Oh, right, because I went there.
Yes, because you went there. God damn it.
Right.
I forgot again.
It's like, why was I telling the story about the place I went sometimes?
Jeez.
Because I went there.
Yeah, no, you did. You Covian.
You don't come out of there not an artist.
You don't go out of there.
It changes you.
That's something. That's something.
Anyway, fuck, we've actually been going for longer than I hoped to at this point.
Oh, yeah.
We're about to get into the long part of the podcast.
Oh, this is the long part. Oh, shit, okay.
Everything up until now was supposed to be short and breezy. Get it out, click it away, fucking doing it. But no.
Okay.
Told you I went to go for a second.
No, I'm aware. I can tell.
Look at me.
God.
It's where I learned to grow my... No, it's not. I always had long hair. That's probably why they thought I was one of them.
Oh, that makes sense.
Because I just rock up there with my long hair and be like, what's going on? And they're like, dude, there's all these guys here. They look like suits.
Short hair.
I was like, those motherfucking suits. I'm one of them. Where are they going? I need to know. I don't know where any classes are here. Dude, it's just like, okay, before we move on from COFA, because I just really want to explain how weird this place was. Normal universities have the name of the building above the entrance and then numbers on the rooms.
Yeah.
COFA didn't.
Just either one of them?
Just had buildings. And you're like, I'm looking for this building, this room number. They're like, oh yeah, like that building's like that one. And you're like, okay, sweet. And they're like, oh yeah, and you're like, this says L0103, like third room, first floor. Pretty standard way to decipher these things.
Yeah.
So you walk in there, you go up to the first floor, and then you're like, oh, okay, there's no rooms in here. It's just all open plan. Where the hell is room 3? And they're like, oh, actually, that room there, you've got to go out this building, into that building, then back across that walkway, and then you'll be in the other side of this building, and there's a classroom over there. You're like, okay. So you do that. Then you walk in, and you'd be like, they said there was a classroom, and it's like, there's an office there, there's a toilet there. This area just has a bunch of desks in it for some unknown reason. Fucking COFA.
What? Is that where it ended up being?
No, if you kept walking down, eventually there was like a room and you opened it up and you're like, am I supposed to be in here? And someone would be like, yeah, probably. You're like, oh, fucking no, this is right, but okay.
Alright, let's join. Let's see where this goes.
I'm plugging in now. Like, this looks like a lecture theatre. I'm supposed to be in a lecture theatre. I think this is it. And you're like, plus all the other doors I opened were just fucking random places.
Yeah, no, that's very...
One of them was just full of beanbags and the dude was asleep in there. So why? Probably because it was comfortable.
Yeah, probably.
Why was it just a room full of beanbags?
COFA. What?
This is the beanbag relaxation zone.
Yeah.
Oh, that's... that makes sense.
You mentioned the beanbags, and I was immediately... my immediate thought was like, yeah, no, that makes sense. It does. It really does.
Oh, that makes sense. Oh, right. That would be where my second class is. The BBRZ. Anyway, enough of COFA.
Yes.
It's a weird place. Man, I wonder if they've changed it now that they've become more corporate. Probably not.
I doubt it.
The rest of the unis become more corporate. They've become more hippie.
Oh, no.
Okay, moving right along. Obviously, Kris doesn't know about this because he's so disconnected from the world that we try to inhabit here on the channel. Tomorrow evening.
Yes.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Possibly. Might be tomorrow night. It could be Friday morning. The Game Awards are happening.
Ah, yeah.
There we go. Nailed it. Kris, did you know they were happening?
No.
Excellent. Great. Anyway, so I knew that was going to happen. So what I did is I went on and I did my voting. Cause I participate in democracy. And I grabbed a few of the categories with a few of the games. Now, obviously, when this comes out, the Game Awards may have already been decided and out there. Or, depending, probably not, because this comes out lunchtime on a Friday for us here in Australia. The Game Awards take place in America. It could come out as they're happening. Either way, chances are, by the time you're watching this, the Game Awards have already been done. But, as of the time of recording, they have not.
Yes.
So, you could still vote. Well, I did. You can't watching this. It's done. But, anyway. So what I thought Kris would do is I'd list off a few of the categories.
So that's why it's nominations. Okay, yeah.
With a few of the nominations, well, all of the nominations for each of these categories. Yes. There's like 31, 32 categories.
Oh, shit. Okay.
There's a lot. But I just thought we'd have a quick chat about some of these games. Hear your picks for what you would choose.
Okay. Okay.
I've already picked, obviously. I could talk about some of those, but basically, we'll have a quick chat about the Game Awards. We'll have a quick chat about one of the controversies that are coming with this year's Game Awards. Actually, we might do that to begin with and then go into it, because the controversies are kind of necessary. So, basically, there's this whole big thing happening right now that everyone's saying, should a remake be able to get Game of the Year? Because technically, it is a different game.
It is.
But also, technically, it is a remake of a game that came before it.
Yeah.
The reason this takes a head is, let me just read off the first category, Game of the Year. Some of the games that could be Game of the Year this year, or might already be when watching this, are Alan Wake 2.
Okay.
Baldur's Gate 3.
Mm-hmm.
Marvel's Spider-Man 2.
Okay.
Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah.
Super Mario Wonder.
Okay.
Or Super Mario Bros. Wonder, but I'm just going to call it Super Mario Wonder from this point forwards. And Resident Evil 4 Remake.
Okay.
And so, I haven't played Resident Evil 4 Remake yet. But obviously Resident Evil 4 is one of the most loved games ever, considering how many times it was just released before this remake. And so the question is, should the remake be able to get it? Because one, obviously there's a lot of nostalgia going for this game.
Well, yes.
And two, have they actually changed it enough from the original to class it as its own standalone game?
That was my thought process. They'd have to have like a minimum percentage.
It is. I can tell you this.
Have to.
What I know about the Resident Evil remakes, they are different from the original games. They're not just nicer looking games.
Okay.
They have actually changed them substantially, control-wise, function-wise. They have made a lot of changes.
Yeah. But
this is why later on, when I'll state another one, and you might understand why maybe the Resident Evil remake can be considered a game of the year.
Yeah.
Whereas this one, the one that's going to come later, and I'll point it out for you all, but might not be.
So I've seen it.
How am I going to say? Maybe should not be in consideration for an award. And as I said, we'll talk about that when we get there. But I just wanted to talk about the Resident Evil remakes for a bit because they are technically different.
Yeah, I mean, I have seen a couple videos on it, and from the ones I've seen, they were pretty familiar with definitely the areas and all that sort of stuff. Like they were saying, "Oh, this wasn't in here before," but it wasn't a great deal of difference.
See, here's where I'm a little bit on the fence about it because I'm like, yes, it's practically retelling the story.
Yes.
So it's like a movie remake.
Yeah.
But it's not the same because they've added some differences. They've changed how the game plays. They've changed the control scheme and everything. Resident Evil 4 was one of those tank-based Resident Evils.
Yeah.
Whereas this one's the more fluid combat. You can run and shoot, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So, for me, it's kind of like a reboot as opposed to a remaster. And it's like...
Yeah.
Reboots should be able to win because they are a new game.
Yeah.
And I'm like... the question is, and it'll probably be hotly debated, in the future, because remakes are going to become even bigger than they currently are. Because let us live on your nostalgia, please.
And they're going to.
Whereas remasters are the old game just looking better. So remasters, I'm definitely like, nope, they should not be in contention.
No, I agree.
However, it does raise another point where you could have best remastered game.
I would be happy with that. That would be...
That's neither here nor there. I just thought I'd put that out there, let that controversy be in your head for the next bit. So, we've gone through the Game of the Years. Best game direction is pretty much the same list, only without Resident Evil 4. So that's Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Marvel Spider-Man 2, Tears of the Kingdom, and Super Mario Wonder. So that's Game of the Year and Best Direction. Those games are in contention for that.
Yes.
Best Narrative. Actually, before we go any further, Game of the Year for you. What would be your Game of the Year? I know you haven't played any of them.
I would probably be going more towards Spider-Man 2.
Spider-Man 2. Obviously, for me, it was Baldur's Gate 3. I think Baldur's Gate 3 should really wrap up Game of the Year, because I think in terms of a game that's really come out swinging and just kind of changed up the industry, Baldur's Gate 3 is really the only one there.
I think my thing is I just haven't played enough of that style of game to jump towards it.
Yeah.
Whereas
that's perfect. That's perfectly
games.
fine. But I'm just saying, I think for a lot of people, because Baldur's Gate 3 has done so much right.
Yeah.
Now there will also be contention because it was technically in early access for a very long time.
Yeah.
But it was released this year, the full game. Now, in that early access time, they had a lot of time to work on it, redo things, make things, work out all the bugs.
Yes.
But as of official release, and that's when I started playing it, it's a completely finished game.
Yep.
It doesn't have microtransactions.
It's always positive.
It has a massive branching narrative. And your choices actually matter in the game. Like, I don't know.
Which is always good.
As someone who hasn't actually finished Baldur's Gate 3 yet, because it's such a big fucking game.
True.
I'm sure if I were to speedrun it, I could be done, but I like to do pretty much everything. And, it is one of those classic games where it's like, you'll be exploring somewhere and then realize you've just picked up another quest because as you're exploring, you ran into someone who started a whole quest line. It's not like one of those things where it's like they've got a giant exclamation mark above their head. It's like you just talk to someone, it's like, oh, this is a quest, and you're like, oh shit, I didn't even realize I was on a new quest. Right, I know. More jobs to do.
Yeah.
So there's just so much that it's done right. I think it's a shoo-in. But I don't know how people will vote with the fact that it was in early access.
Definitely for me, it would have been second pick. Again, I'd have to play them to make the proper decision, but second pick would have been that.
Okay, so that's the first two categories. The next category is best narrative. Now, I have left out quite a few of the categories. As I said, there's 31 or 32 of them, and some of them, when I was voting, I just picked the game that I liked the most, because I'm not really an expert in those things. Like, it was like best fighting game, best game that's added in accessibility and shit like that. And I was like,
okay,
I don't really know much about games adding accessibility. I don't really know how to vote on that, but anyway. So there's a lot of categories I've left out, but these are, I think, the big ones. So, best narrative, you've got Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Marvel Spider-Man 2, Final Fantasy 16, and Cyberpunk Phantom Liberty.
Oh, tough one. I want to say Alan Wake, because that's more of a story-driven game.
Yep.
Whereas like Baldur's Gate, I was thinking maybe, but then it's. I mean, yeah, it probably could.
So
just being such a big game, there's a lot of ways you could go.
Yeah. To give you mine, I went Baldur's Gate because there is a overarching narrative.
Okay.
That is very.
Well, I knew there would be.
No, you know how some of those games, like let's take Skyrim for example.
Yeah.
The overarching narrative is kind of like, ooh, go fight the big dragon. Well, this one is more like, no, you've got shit to do. You know.
Yeah.
It's just there are so many different ways you can go about it, and I'm like, it's. for me, I had to give it best narrative just because of how they've put the narrative together.
Okay.
Where it's like, you can play it this way and you have follow the narrative. You can play it this way and you follow the narrative. You can become an asshole and kill everyone and still be following the main narrative. You can join the bad guys and still be following the main narrative. There's so much you can do.
Okay. Yeah.
That it's just like, I'm like, in terms of narrative, they've nailed pretty much a narrative. It's not like one of these games where it's like, you are following the path. It's like, there is a narrative here for pretty much anyone who wants to play this game. And they can play it any way they want. There are characters you can kill, and if you kill them, they don't join your party. But you didn't know they were going to join your party, so you killed them. And then you realize, oh wait, hang on. 20 hours later, when you go, oh, I want to quickly check this up, and you go, what's this for? Oh, that person could have joined my party.
Damn.
Wow. Okay.
Fair enough.
Well, or, for me, the first time I ran into a bear in a cage, and I was like, oh, okay, there's a bear in a cage down here that these goblins are messing with. And so I killed the goblins because I was like, well, whatever. And I let the bear go, and it turned out to be the person I was looking for.
Oh.
And it's like, if I had helped the goblins harass the bear would have attacked me, and I wouldn't have been able to recruit him and get his information. And it's like, okay, well, that's for me why I went best narrative. I went because there's so much narrative there. There's so much narrative and so many ways to approach the narrative that you can't do it all in a single playthrough. And I'm like, that to me is a good narrative. That's the best narrative you can have, because me and you could play the same game and get completely different stories. Whereas for a lot of stories, it's like, oh, we played the same game.
Doesn't matter how you play.
And it's like, oh yeah, I played like a fucking asshole and killed everyone. It's like, oh cool, what happened? Oh, at the end, I wore a red shirt instead of a blue shirt.
Yeah, that one's a bit rough.
Okay, so that was best narrative. Best art direction. We had Alan Wake 2, Hi-Fi Rush, Lies of P, Super Mario Brothers Wonder, and Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom.
Ooh, that's a tough one. I want to say...
I actually can't remember what I voted for this one. I might have gone with Lies of P, because I really did like the art direction there.
I haven't actually... Yeah.
Where...
I haven't actually seen too much on that one. But I have seen a bit
two
on
things that I'm really hoping for. One, Tears of the Kingdom does not win Game of the Year.
No.
Because I don't think it's better than Baldur's Gate 3.
Honestly, I haven't even thought it would... My thought process, not even in contention.
Well, remember
but
that...
apparently it is.
Remember that Breath of the Wild won Game of the Year. And I have massive problems with... And Tears of the Kingdom kind of adds more to those problems. I'm like, I don't want it to win.
Which is why...
the other thing with art direction is I'm like, I like the art style, but...
I would prefer the art style in Lies of P.
Here's my well, I think Lies of P is better, which I think is why I voted for it.
Yeah, I think that's where I would have gone.
Lies of P had a really good art style. Like, that's kind of what sold me on wanting to play it.
Yeah.
Whereas I like the kind of cel-shaded cartooniness of Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, but they really are held back by the console they're on.
True.
And I know that you're not supposed to take that into account, but at the same time, you kind of have to, when it's like part of the look is the limitations of the game.
Yeah, only looking at the art for Alan Wake 2.
Alan Wake 2 could be a winner there.
Could be.
I like
the
Lies of P.
Yeah, that's where I'm.
I like the whole French, Renaissance type of era look of it. So that was best art direction, best score / music.
Oh.
Okay. We have Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Final Fantasy 16, Hi-Fi Rush, and Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom.
Honestly, I don't think I can put much input into it.
Yeah, you kind of have to have played the game and heard the music. For me, I went with Baldur's Gate 3 because I really like the kind of fantasy style music that they play in that, and there's a lot of songs that are like there's this whole mission that I did at one point where it had its own song sung by the main villain of the piece, and he's like singing about how you have failed and how he's going to kill you pretty much. And I was like,
oh, nice.
And if you don't do this mission, you would never hear it.
Yeah, okay. That actually does sound pretty cool.
I'm like, that's pretty badass.
Yeah.
Especially considering he's a demon. I'm like, yeah, that's very badass. No, sorry, he's a devil. Different.
Yes.
Okay, this is best audio design. So this is the music, this is the audio design. Alan Wake 2, Hi-Fi Rush, Marvel Spider-Man 2, Resident Evil 4, and Dead Space. Now, this is the one I was talking about. Dead Space. From what I understand, the Dead Space that came out this year is just a remaster of the original Dead Space.
Yeah.
Which means, should it be up for something like best audio design, when really all they did was retool the old game, make it look a bit nicer. This is where I'm like, as I said, I gave Resident Evil 4 a little bit of a pass because it does change a lot. It changes systems, it changes how the game plays, whereas this, to me, is a remake. From everything I know about it, it's a remake. I could be wrong. I'm willing to put that out there. I haven't actually played the new Dead Space. Yeah. But from my understanding, it is a remaster.
Yeah, okay. Fair enough.
Like, it's a remake, but it's more of a remaster than a remake. They didn't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater, if you catch.
Would you say the options were again?
Alan Wake 2, Dead Space, Hi-Fi Rush, Marvel Spider-Man 2, and Resident Evil 4.
Without actually playing, I think I would actually go Alan Wake.
Okay. Again, this is one of the ones I can't remember what I voted for. Yeah. I think I went for Alan Wake, but I might be wrong.
Again, without playing them, I honestly think that would have made it.
Okay, we'll move on to the next one because that's not a really interesting topic. That's the one where I was like, can you really consider Dead Space to have audio design if they're just copying what was there? Yes, they would have up-resed it and maybe even gone out and got new sounds, but it's like,
possibly.
Audio design is like where sounds are supposed to be happening, and it's like, I can imagine that there's a reason that it's shown up there. Yeah. Because technically, audio is one of the hidden things in gaming that you don't think about, but it does get a lot better over time. I can guarantee you, the new one probably has echoes when you're walking around the empty halls.
Oh, of course.
The sound of your own footsteps, which definitely wouldn't have been in the original game. So it's a bit of a hard one, but I'm just like, I'm fairly sure from what I know, this one is a remake. Yeah. Like, not a remake, sorry, a remaster. Pretty much the old game, but looking better, sounding better, everything's better. Yeah. So I that's the contentious one. Okay, so the next category is best ongoing game, which is our things are Apex Legends, Cyberpunk, Final Fantasy 16, Fortnite, and Genshin Impact.
I would want to go with Final Fantasy.
I went with Cyberpunk, just because the fact that it is ongoing is incredible.
True.
They could have literally just had a terrible game and been like, it's terrible, we're leaving. Yeah. But the fact that it's been ongoing and getting better, I'm pretty happy about that. Yeah. I don't think Final Fantasy 16 is a bad one. Fortnite, I fucking hate, so I don't want that. Genshin Impact, I really hate. Because it's just a gacha game.
It is.
So I don't really want to be awarding it with anything, considering its whole job is to make you lose lots of money. And Apex Legends, I don't really play a lot of Apex Legends, but I didn't even realise it was still going, if that makes...
Yeah, I mean, I knew it was still going, but I just don't think
Okay, now we're into a topic that's near and dear to my heart. Best indie game.
Oh, okay.
Cocoon, Dave the Diver, Dredge, Sea of Stars, and Viewfinder. Obviously, I voted for Dave the Diver. I love that game.
I honestly only know two of them by name.
Dredge and Dave the Diver.
Yeah, and honestly, I would go Dave the Diver as well.
Yeah. Okay, next category. Both of us would go Dave the Diver. It's a great game. If you haven't played it, do play it. It's very fun. Best mobile game. I didn't write down any of these because I don't know mobile games. But I brought up the category because I'm like, wow, I didn't even realise this was a category.
I'm not even surprised at it though. I didn't know either, but I'm not surprised. With the amount they're doing these days.
Wow. Yeah. Wait, that's a category.
Actually, you know what?
I'm fairly sure I chose something and I was like, it looks like it has anime waifus in it. Great game. Great game, 10 out of 10.
I feel like it's probably actually been in there for a few years.
It probably has, but
Candy Crush probably won one year.
Oh, fuck, I'd hate... No, probably not, because it probably wasn't released that year. That is probably the one saving grace. It would have to be released the year that they added it. And Candy Crush has been around for a very long time. Okay, Kris, let's move on. Best action game. We've got Armored Core 6. That's the one made by your favourite people. From Software.
I actually don't know the game.
It's about robots. Dead Island 2, Ghost Runner 2, Hi-Fi Rush, or Remnant 2. What did I choose for this?
I heard Remnant 2 did a lot better than the first one, that's for sure.
Wouldn't be hard. The first one was a bit of a disappointment.
It was literally just slapping tiles together. That's all it was.
Yeah. I prefer a world to be designed, if you know what I mean. I can't remember what I voted for in that. I think it might have been Dead Island 2, but I might have also put in Ghost Runner 2. I can't remember. I think it had a 2 in it. Because I went there so good, they made them twice. I don't think it was Dead Island 2, though. Because as much as I did like the look of it, I wasn't the biggest fan. Okay, moving on from Best Action Game.
Yes.
Best Action Adventure Game. Okay. Here are our options. Alan Wake 2, Marvel Spider-Man 2, Resident Evil 4, Legend of Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom, or Star Wars Jedi Survivor. Obviously I went Jedi Survivor. I really love that game.
I haven't actually played Survivor.
Okay, well.
I've been meaning to, but it's probably where I would have gone as well. If not, I would have gone Spider-Man.
Best RPG of the year. Baldur's Gate 3, Final Fantasy 16, Lies of P, Sea of Stars, and Starfield. Obviously, no question here. For me, it was Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah, I assumed it would have been.
Considering it is literally based on Dungeons & Dragons, it is the only one there that is truly an RPG.
It's true.
A tabletop RPG, technically.
It is. So, I would agree.
Yep.
I still really have to play Lies of P.
Yep.
I reckon that'd be a close second for me.
For me, the second would probably be Starfield, but I haven't played a whole lot of that.
Yeah.
It is fun from what I have played, but it is also overwhelming. There's a lot.
No, I can imagine that. I can imagine that one.
Okay. So many other categories, guys, but we're going to wrap up on the last two that I thought of bringing into this because I'm like, there's so many categories there. I don't want to talk about every one. I don't really have a lot to say on every one. There's like best fighting game, best whatever. I don't play a lot of fighting games. I think I gave it to fun. Mortal Kombat 1.
Yeah.
Either that or Street Fighter 6 because I was like, I want to play Street Fighter 6, but I can't remember.
Fair.
Most anticipated game. I wanted this one because I anticipate lots of games, and the games on this list actually seem very good. Okay, most anticipated games, Kris. We've got Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, very anticipated. Hades 2, quite anticipated. After the thing that Hades was, Like a Dragon: Infinite Wealth. That's the new Yakuza game. And Star Wars Outlaws, and the final one in most anticipated was Tekken 8. So I'll break mine down first, give you some time to think. Tekken 8, I'm not anticipating at all. I didn't even know it was being made, nor did I care. I'm not really a big Tekken guy. Star Wars Outlaws, I have seen, I like the look of, I think there's a lot to do there. It's being made by Ubisoft.
Okay.
That's dangerous.
They
have the tendency to put bloat in their game instead of game in their game.
True.
And one of my biggest things is that I want to be an outlaw, not a rebel.
Yes.
That's kind of the thing where I'm a little bit iffy about, where it's like, I can help whoever I want to help given the situation and what's going to help me best. Not, oh, you're an outlaw, so that's just speak for you're going to join the rebels against the Empire. No. It's like, no, I want to be morally ambiguous. So it's obviously not that for me. Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, absolutely, I'm anticipating that. I love the Yakuza games, even after they were rebranded Like a Dragon. I think they're great. I haven't played them all, I own them all, I just haven't played them all, which is why it's not my most anticipated game. Because if I was up to it, and I was seeing the characters that I know and love, I would probably be like, this game's going to be fucking great. But
Fair.
I'm not there yet.
Yeah.
Hades 2, I have been playing quite a bit of Hades 1.
I haven't
Now.
played any of it.
It's just called Hades, but I guess now
Yeah.
Hades 2 exists. Hades, we technically call it Hades 1. But
Yeah.
it is a fun game. You would probably like it more than me, just because it's more
Quite
your type of
probably,
game.
yeah.
Where it's like
It's definitely been on my list of things.
a lot
to
of
play.
repetitive action. It is a lot. Very.
Depends on how repetitive that is.
It's a lot about, so when I say repetitive, it's dungeon crawling, obviously. But it's dungeon crawling where you're trying to complete the dungeon X amount of times, changing up your styles, getting different powers, so it's a lot of maximizing and kind of the same stuff you do in like FromSoft games.
Yeah, I mean, I'm unsure on it because I've never really been big on dungeon
And
crawlers.
brutally hard. It's not a dungeon crawler so much as it is a dungeon explorer.
Okay, fair enough.
But it's brutally hard. It's a lot of planning and trying to min-max things and like making sure doing the best to kind of make sure you've got a thing. Whereas me, I'm very aesthetically driven. Like I'm an artist.
Fair.
Where it's like, so sometimes, not all times, but sometimes I will choose a weaker weapon because I like the look of it better.
See, I'm not against that.
Yeah.
I'm not just straight up drop it for the
So
chest.
Hades 2, I am actually looking forward to. I didn't actually know it was coming out, so I can't anticipate. So it couldn't be my most anticipated because I didn't know it existed.
Honestly, have
I
to
am
agree.
excited about it, but I didn't know it was real. So obviously, I gave my most anticipated to Final Fantasy VII Rebirth because I've been waiting for that for a very long time, so I can finally start Final Fantasy VII Remake. Because I'm not going to start that, only to have to wait years to play the next part of the game.
Yeah, no, I can agree to that. I do agree with most of what you said there. I didn't know Hades was coming out, didn't know Tekken was coming out, so they're not going to be my anticipated. Final Fantasies, out of all of those, are probably one of the only ones I was actually looking forward to because I haven't played any of the Yakuza games.
Yeah,
some of it looks fun, but I don't think I'd be into the entirety of the games. Just small bits.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah. No, it's definitely, like, for me, I started with Yakuza 0.
Yeah.
Which is technically not the place to start. Yakuza 1 is technically. But,
So you finally decided where to start?
No, I started on 0 because that's the first part of the story.
Oh, okay.
That happens before Yakuza 1. It's just Yakuza 1 was the first game. Yakuza 0 is the prequel.
Oh, no, but what I mean is you finally decided on the order.
Oh, for Yakuza? Yeah, I already knew the order. Because the Yakuza games follow one person's story.
True, yes.
It's not like Resident Evil. This one makes sense. Starting at 0 gives you a bit of backstory about all the characters you're going to be playing in 1 and
Makes
why
sense.
they have these connections that they have,
Okay, fair. Makes sense.
and who some of the people you might run into are. Anyway, okay, and the final one. This one is actually just a bit of a shock, really, but
Okay.
content creator of the year. Yeah, well, surprisingly, we weren't on that list.
I know.
And I was a little bit hurt by that.
I'm shocked.
No, I didn't know any of them, and I was like, I abstained from voting.
Okay.
I would not want to put my backing behind someone I don't know.
Well, that's fair.
And because I don't watch them, I don't actually know if their content is any good. Maybe they're just one of these people who sits there and screams a lot.
Maybe.
I would hate to vote for that because I don't condone it.
Yeah, that's fair.
But also at the same time, I don't know if they hate Toad, and if they hate Toad, then they have my full support.
I know, right?
But yeah, no, I was just a little bit hurt and shocked by that. Like, I was like, I create content.
I don't even think I would know who they are either.
Why aren't I on this list?
Did you write their names down?
No.
No. Okay, I'll have to look it up later.
Well, you should probably vote later.
No problem.
Anyway, so that kind of wraps up everything that I thought was important from the Game Awards, other than the fact that they should be decided from this point, from when you are actually seeing this. Maybe not. Maybe they're still going. Maybe they're in progress. Who knows?
Maybe.
I don't.
I definitely don't.
But I think that covers most of it. I think that covers our predictions for it, and our votes for it. Obviously, mine are less predictions than just what I voted for and hope wins.
Yeah.
Obviously, I hope they win because I voted for them, and that would make me right. But also, there were 32 categories, and Some of them
31.
31 or 32, I can't remember.
Fuck, okay, fair enough.
There was a lot, and some of them I'm staying from, and one of them I voted just because the dude was from Australia.
Okay. Oh, no.
Classic.
Okay.
I was like, because there's like, there's so many categories, like, best esport, and I was like, well, the only one that I really care about is League of Legends, so there you go.
No, fair.
Then I was like, best esport team, and I was like, I don't know any of these guys. I'm not voting for any of you. And then it was like, best esport venue, and I was like, I don't think that's important.
No.
This is the Game Awards, not the esport team awards.
Yeah, true.
And I was like, best esport player, and I was like, I don't watch esports.
No, I mean, I suppose the location maybe based.
No, it was events.
Oh, okay, events. Okay. I mean, technically it is gaming.
I think I went for the League of Legends, like, championship.
Yeah.
Just because the other one that I was tossing up was something about Paris, and I went, fuck the French.
Fuck. Okay.
Fuck the French. Personal creed.
Yeah.
But yeah. No, so that just about wrapped it up. As I said, there's a lot of stuff happening there. If you have voted, I hope that your votes were successful.
Yes.
If you haven't voted, like Kris, I hope that you have some predictions on what you would like to see is the big one. The big one, I think, from the Game Awards, the only one that anyone really remembers is Game of the Year.
Yeah.
Possibly followed up by Indie Game of the Year, because
pretty
much Game of the Year is like, this is the best game of the year, sometimes. Sometimes it's just the most popular game of the year.
That is true.
That's how popularity contests work.
It is.
But you're very rarely ever going to see an indie game hit Game of the Year kind of qualifications, because it's going up against games that have actual money spent on them.
That's true.
Not just what you can find behind your sofa. So yeah, for me, probably the only two that I really am like going to even check back on are Game of the Year and Indie Game of the Year.
Yep.
Just because I want to see how well Dave the Diver actually did.
Oh, that's fair.
And as far as Game of the Year goes, I'd be very shocked if it wasn't Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah.
Just because, even now I'm still reading stories about how good of a game it was and how it's kind of forced the industry to look at itself and
yes, that's it.
think about doing things like releasing finished games.
That'd be nice.
It would be nice. Yeah, guys, so that wraps us up. It's been about an hour and a half. That's pretty good. I actually still have a drink left. Because I've been talking a lot.
Yeah.
COFA.
Fucking COFA.
Hell of a story, wasn't it?
It was.
If you made it this far, congratulations. You now understand COFA. Sort of.
No, really.
No one really understands.
No.
But you also know a lot about the pubs that I went to, so there's that as well.
Yeah.
Did I explain? No, I didn't explain the reach. No, guys, that wraps us up for the day. Thank you for joining us. If you liked the video, please consider liking, sharing, commenting, or subscribing.
Yes.
Feel free to check out our Patreon or the Discord. They should be linked somewhere in the description. And as always, guys, just stay cool. Thumbs up. Anyway, guys, I've been Darcy. He's been Kris. Thank you for joining us. We will catch you next time, and goodbye.
See ya.
Bye-bye. Also, my advice on McDonald's. Mint advice on McDonald's.
Yeah.
Just like my advice on fucking KFC. Don't do it. Before we get started, let me just quickly... I should punch you in the dick.